For centuries, they've been editing your freedom. Parliament has quietly rewritten the rules in the act of treason, line by line, clause by clause, stripping away rights, rewriting oaths, and replacing living people with legal fictions. Most never noticed, we never gave permission, but the impact, it's everywhere. This isn't just history, it's the code behind your everyday life, your name, your rights, your standing. In this episode, we uncover how the laws meant to protect you were altered and how the system you think you live under isn't the one that was originally written. Welcome to Dark Matters. And here is Robin Hood with the antidote and update. Robin, are you there?
Hello, how are you?
I'm very
Lovely
well.
to be
Thank you.
back.
Yes, it's good to have you back. So, we've been chatting obviously all the time. So, it's time to give the people an update. Where are we up to?
We're up to now, literally, we're at the cutting edge now. We've discovered how they've done, what they've done, and where they've started it from. We can now travel back to 1702, and what people have got to remember, like I've stated previously in my podcast with you and many other people, is life was very different 300 years ago. People couldn't read, they couldn't write, and they were told what to do by the barons of old, and they were told what to do by the king. Then it started to change. The Vatican wanted to come in, and of course, we all know the story of Henry VIII that kicked the Vatican out, would not allow them into England, and seized all their lands.
Yeah.
Chapels, golds, everything, because of their treachery to the people. And nothing much has changed from there. This is all about Roman law. It's all about the Vatican. It's all about the establishment of merchants' law, which is basically everyone and everything is now an incorporated fiction corporation world. And this is built on, if you watch the films and understand them, it's now based on what we can see is between 4 and 5 films. You've got the Transformers, the spark of life. Well, where's the spark of life? That is when you and your beloved, create life. That is the spark of life. It's the Big Bang. That's what saved the big red and blue Transformer. That's the leader. And the bad guys wanted Cybertron to come in, eat the world, and re-establish their world and make it new. Then you've got Assassin's Creed, where they wanted to take the free men out of the way, and they called them assassins because we wanted to stand up for our rights. We're not going to allow you to take over the world. We're not going to allow you to treat us as a business while telling us that we're something that we're not, and telling us that you're in charge of us when you're not. Because what the crafty so-and-sos have done is they've changed us from the creditors to the debtors by becoming personas. And you only have to look, you can Google it, you can ChatGPT it, you can do whatever you want with it. It literally states that every piece of paperwork the state issues, identification, they can only do it in the quasim just in persona identification. Then you've got the just in persona, and then it's the in rem persona, which you've all heard me going on about. Now, the in rem persona is us, the sovereign, living, breathing man, the children of God, whatever you want to class it is, whether you're religious. I'm literally, I don't know, the more I'm going through the Holy Gospel and God's words and everything else, they are so illuminating and not what they've been portrayed to be. And, when you look at certain things, like the breath of God, it starts to make you think about serious issues, that this is what they've done to us. They're now trying to convert us into inanimate objects, companies, corporations, by the birth certificates, all caps legal fiction, It's a Crown document. It's owned and copyrighted to the Crown. It is not you. And it states on the birth certificate, this is not to be used as identification. But what do they ask you to send? Your birth certificate. Then when you've got your birth certificate and then you've got your other photographic identification in your persona, your driving license, your national insurance number, your tax code number, your passport, that is what the P stands for. It's not pauper. It's not any of the others that we believe to be, but it's now actually the persona. It's the photograph. It's the image of the man. That's what it means.
The person.
Oh, the person. Yeah, the person.
Person.
Yeah, and this is how they've done it. And what they've done is, if you look through what they did in 1888, which was remove certain articles of the Magna Carta, both in the 1215 and 1297. Well, you can't, there's not a prayer on earth you can do that. Not an absolute prayer on earth. Because that was done by divine kings and by the will of God, was the Magna Carta. It has stood the test of time for nearly 1,000 years. It's 800 years old. Over 800 years old. Right? And the Article 1 states perpetuity forever. Nobody can touch that without our express written consent. Nobody. Not Parliament. I don't care what Parliament says. It's fake as anything. Parliament is not Parliament.
The entry of a birth in the register creates a record of the event for civil administration. It does not of itself establish a contract, trust, or legal obligation upon the individual so named. And that was the Chief Registrar, the General Register Office. It's a civil admin document only that they have taken and used in fraud against the people.
Correct. And that's by threat of fine and forfeiture. Because if you don't register, what do they threaten to do? Give you £1,000 fine.
Yeah. See Bill of
and
Rights
start taking stuff off you.
Can't do that. Yeah.
So the Bill of Rights, you can't do that either. There's no crime committed. And this is what they've done. They've put statutory policy rules in place over our laws. Well, it's the law of the land, not the rule of some stupid, illegitimate parliament. And we'll get on to the illegitimacy of the parliament. Because since 1888, they went in and changed the Bill of Rights. Not the Bill of Rights, sorry, the Bill of Rights as well. But they changed the Magna Chartas, the Declaration of Rights, the Bill of Rights, the Coronation of Oath, the Supremacy Act, and so on and so on. Our fundamental inalienable rights. Now, there will be a lot of people that go, oh, no, they don't exist, they're too old, or whatever. And I'm going to state to you now, if you actually get off your lazy behinds and read properly the original documents and their meaning and words, they have been written by, and if this is to me proof of a time traveler, and I don't say that lightly, because to be relevant in 1215 to mean and be relevant nearly 1,000 years later, that has either got to be one super intelligent 1,200 man or men that wrote it, or that was somebody with clear vision of what was coming. And this is what Parliament's done.
Scripted reality for details, you know. There is a timeline to it, and it is about time, but, you know, without going off piece too much, yes, I would agree.
Yeah. But then you've got the 1948, when they went in again under the Reforms Act to tidy up the old statutes. Well, they haven't got the authority. It states in them that you can't change them. You can't change one word of it. If you do, it's treason. It's treasonous behaviour.
Yeah.
Right? It's punishable by death. And everybody says, oh, no, they've repealed the death penalty. No, they haven't. What they've done is they repealed it in a statute. So in statutory law, you can't get hung. But trust me, in common law, you can still get hung. And common law is the highest law in the land.
Yeah, yeah. And we
Because
have to get to that point, don't we? We have to kind of get that face because this is on our shores and this is now. It's here. So there's no kind of pussyfooting around now, is there? And it's
now,
brilliant that people are starting to come together and to work with us, isn't it? It's
it's,
unity. That's what
it's
we need.
fabulous. I think it is. I think it's now time that people have seen the validity in the research and the way. It's not just all my research. There's quite a few of us doing this, and there's a powerful brain behind this, shall we say? And it's not just one. There's many brains behind this that come together, and we will argue like family. And we'll call each other some ridiculous names, and then, we'll have a beer and calm down 5 minutes and say, right, let's all go away, think about what we've discovered, and then we'll come back. We meet again in 3 or 4 days later and go, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. But this is what we do. So by finding these certain how they've done things, it's like bringing in the Henry VIII clause. So they can now subvert Parliament. That means they subvert us. Well, they can't do that. The Imperial Crown is not what people think it is. The Imperial Crown is a vessel to hold our sovereignty, our authority over Parliament, over the King, and over everything in this land. But they've twisted it. It now means that it's the King. Well, it's not. I'm sorry to say. The King is nothing more than the chief trustee of our sovereignty. And our authority. That's it. If we write to him and say, dissolve Parliament, now he dissolves Parliament. He's got no choice. None.
Yeah.
Okay? Absolutely zero chance. Zero authority to do anything but, because he is nothing more than a servant of the people. That's how we have him there.
It's the ultimate fiduciary, isn't it? So it's any administrator, executor, or official who fails to dissolve a Setia KV trust upon proof of life is guilty of fraud and fundamental breach of fiduciary duty.
Correct. But what they've done is they've taken the fiduciary duty and tried to hide that and put it under the Nolan principles.
Yeah.
Right? Anybody in public duty has to be under the fiduciary duties, which is common law, and the power of the Imperial Crown of the governed. That's me and that's everybody.
Yeah.
We are the governed. We are not the slaves. We are not in servitude. But by becoming under the Birth Certificate and Deaths Act of 1953, you become under administrative admiralty law for the state, because now you become a state citizen under Roman administrative admiralty law. What a lot of nonsense. Mm-hmm. So we now have gone from the creditors, the bosses, the whatever, to now being told that we have no rights, everything's been removed. And because if you put that up, if you've got it there, Gally, the order of precedence.
When a judge hears and decides individual cases, they apply and interpret both UK statute and common law. However, when common law varies with UK statute, the statute will overrule.
So that means your policy.
Yeah.
Go on. Yeah. So basically, well, you can read on. Go on. Read on.
Common law is made by judges and developed through the principle of binding precedent and the decisions of the courts.
That's common law. That means it's our ancient rights and customs, right? Because it's like Lord Coke stated in 1610 in the Bonham case, if you want to have a look it up, that sometimes the law will overrule Parliament and deem parliamentary statutes void. Now, common law, and that's a doctrine. That is a doctrine that can't be changed, can't be removed. So what they've done is, when we ordered Parliament to get out of Europe and remove all laws, everything. We don't want anything more to do with Europe. What they were secretly doing were keeping their illegal authority. By putting in that UK statutes and EU law was above constitutional and common law.
Yeah.
There's the proof of it. If you click on the proper document for all you that are interested and read it through, it will tell you. And they're trying to remove this off the air. If you want to get rid of that, Carl, that's great now. I mean, I think people can see that.
Well, they did it with the Judicature Act, didn't they? They merged everything with the Judicature Act being an act, and then they claimed authority through statute there as well.
Yeah. And this is what they've been doing. Literally, there's loads of incidents where they've weakened and removed our authority over them to get authority over us. But you can't do that. It literally is treasonous and treasonous behaviour. It's as simple as that, by using treasonous instruments, such as acts and statutes, to subvert constitutional authority. You can't do it. Because who created Parliament? We did. Who gives Parliament its authority? We do. Therefore, it is backed by the Imperial Crown. What's gone? What is no longer there? The Imperial Crown.
Yeah.
So they've now removed our authority completely, and they're working under theirs.
Yeah. Hence, you know, the persona, the person, and they get to tell us what to do. Dance, monkey dance, do monkey do a poo on you, isn't it? So it's about remembering who we are.
Yeah, and we are the creditors. We are not the debtors. The government is in trouble to us for £2 trillion.
Yeah.
Right? They're in trouble to us. They owe us £2 trillion. We don't owe the government £2 trillion. But what they've done by sleight of hand and trickery is put that debt to us. Well, no, thank you very much. I ain't paying your debt. You've overspent in fraud. You know, I mean, it's all coming out now. Literally, there is so much fraud and deception going off in councils. Every department of the British government, right? And it's British. It's not the English government. It's the British government. It has no effect on us. None. We're English.
Yeah.
Right? I will not be British. I don't care what the British Act says. It is not me. I did not approve it. I did not give Parliament my autonomy, my authority, my absolutely, you know, attorney rights to make a decision on my behalf. No, they're there to work for us. That's what they've forgotten, and it's what we've allowed to happen.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to say now is quite provocative. If you look at the voting system, and we've all seen the adverts, right? Your voting card comes with your name on it. It's then got, all in little boxes, all the wording that is what they don't want you to understand it is. So you now fetch in the rule, the four-corner rule in law. Everything within the box is administrative and not worth the paper it's written on. It's not there. So your name now is in the box. Your voter ID code is in a box. They've sent it to you in a persona by adding Miss, Mrs. Right? And if they don't do that, the fact that they've put it in a box and they are now demanding, we've all seen the TV adverts, before you can vote, you will need state identification. What is state identification?
The person, the fiction.
The fiction. And it states it.
Of course.
So we've now just got them cheating democracy in front of our face, because there has been no democracy in this country or vote since 1888.
Yeah. And it's just spoiling that proverbial flog, isn't it? Proverbial flog? Proverbial frog.
Yeah,
just slowly eroding these slow, detailed erosions, isn't it?
yeah, and it gets us
So we forget.
to understand that we've now got to participate in state rule,
Hmm.
but we're not state rule. We are under Imperial Crown authority because we've all agreed to that. We've not agreed to parliamentary rule.
No.
Statute state and the Imperial statute state. It is us that decide law, not Parliament. We
Yeah.
have the right to say that law does not affect me because I don't consent to it. And it's in our
Yeah.
statutes, our
Yeah.
superior statutes.
Yeah. Well, it's like a nullification, isn't it? That's why you have the power of the jury, a jury of your peers, under law, in a court of law, and everything else is an administrative fiction, like you said. All courts now, even the Royal Courts of Justice, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how fancy sounding that court is. It's a bar court. It's an administrative court. They've taken that from the people. They've taken it from us. And he who creates owns. We created that, and we've got to take our courts back and
But we
everything
didn't.
back.
I mean, that's the
We
laugh
never
now. We
gave it,
didn't
but
create.
yeah,
What we had was the House of Lords. The House of Lords was common law. They then took that power from the House of Lords and gave it to a Supreme Court. They then gave that to the House of Lords. Then they had to fuddle it again and gave it to a Supreme Court, so that we've got the illusion of going up the courts till we get to a court that we can't go any higher than, while they're draining the money and life source out of you,
yeah,
right? Just to get to be heard for justice. Well, no, 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 no. It states quite clearly, justice denied, right? No, you can't be done. You can't sell it. You can't pay for it. You can't buy it. And what are they doing? You've now got to buy it. You've got to purchase it. You've got to get in there, and it's going to cost you a fortune.
yeah,
We've already paid for this through our taxes. That's why we pay taxes,
yeah.
right? So now we don't have to pay any taxes. That's your council tax, not that you ever did anyway, because it's all on statutes. Statutes don't appeal to us. None of it.
Yeah,
This is to the corporate fiction.
yeah.
And everybody keeps saying, oh, yeah, but the trust, it doesn't exist, it doesn't exist. Carry on, guys. Carry on saying it doesn't exist. Because that's what they want you to believe.
Well, and the council tax
We've
are
now
in the
just,
process of, they're actually sending out all the reminders, aren't they? Just as a bit of a plug for the
yeah,
network, because Paul's been working pretty tirelessly to get all the notices up that you can send to them to tell them that I think you're in the wrong jurisdiction, dickwads. And they're up in the network now. So, well, the modified ones as well. So,
yeah. I mean,
we just all need to understand.
this is the great awakening, and look, we've all made mistakes. We've all got to live by them and die by them, and we're all trying to do as best. But the point with the new paperwork now, I've put in the divine right of life to prove who we are, and done it through an affidavit and a challenge to their jurisdiction. Because this is what it's all about, is what jurisdiction are you in? Because I'm not in that jurisdiction, so don't contact me again and remove me from your paperwork.
And that's it. It's just law words. Juris means law, diction means words. It's just an entrapment with words why the judge passes the sentence. And once we understand how to wrap them up with their own language and stand on the land as living men and women, then we're getting somewhere. We can get people just to understand the basic.
Yeah, we're getting at the minute now. We've had three cases now moved courts each time because they're terrified of what we're doing. It's gone to a magistrate's court, to a county court, now to a magistrate's court again, in different areas, because they cannot deal with the paperwork. They can't deal with our affidavits, because I've gone back to the beginning and I've forgiven the sins. I haven't personally, but in the paperwork it's forgiven, right? And it was forgiven by Jesus Christ on the cross.
You paid the debt, right? We keep repaying it.
And they're now trying to keep paying the debt. Well, the debt was forgiven, it's paid.
Exactly.
The debt of original sin has been paid. There is no sin. The only sin that's now been created is their sin, not ours.
Yeah. And they've switched it round on us because we
Correct.
forgot who we are. Yeah.
It's as simple as that. We are from, I mean, look, everybody keeps saying the miracle of birth, and it is a miracle because for all intents and purposes, it really shouldn't happen. So if you take that miracle as a divine right, that you and your partner fall in love, you have, a baby. So we go back to the beginning of creation. So that there where your seed meets the fertile egg, that combines, the Big Bang Theory goes off. That then is covered in a membrane. So it's a memory portal to protection, to feed you your old memories, your bloodlines and everything else of your past lives and everything else. You then, through the placenta and through the, what is it?
The womb.
Through the placenta and through other bits and bobs within the lady's body, you are fed through sonic powers because you don't actually feed until later on. You get then, so you're like a plant, if you will. You are fed by some kind of mysterious food. You are then, once you're then
Flora and fauna, Robin. The flora and fauna.
Yeah,
of the
because
woman.
it's some kind of
Protective,
yeah. It basically, and a couple of midwives have said this, and one of the midwives has literally found this lovely book of midwifery in 1948, and it tells you more now. And she was astonished because it's the first time she sort of read this book, and we were privileged to be there with her. And she was going through. She went,
our
"Oh, they don't
Victoria?
teach us this. They don't teach us that. I can't mention names. You know, I don't like mentioning names." And it's like, there you go. Look at this, and they don't teach us this, and they don't teach us that, and they don't teach us this. And it's all about the suppression of knowledge and to get us through, right?
Yeah.
And
which is why they cut off the placenta, because the placenta is supposed to stay with the baby, and to nourish the baby.
Yeah.
But of course, they whack it off and register it as the dead twin, so it all comes back full circle.
It's the placenta. Your birth certificate is the registration of the placenta.
And placenta,
because the midwives now have confirmed.
They get to give you a birthday cake to celebrate.
Well, no, if you look at the placenta, I mean, again, in that book, it showed you the placenta, right, as properly drawn by a masterful artist. You've got to be honest. And it literally, if you looked at that upside down, with the umbilical cord as the trunk, and the what is it as the foliage and whatever you're above the branches, you can see that placenta is the tree of life. Yeah. It was amazing how that looked.
Yeah.
So if you're getting that, and then that's giving you the divine gene, God's gene, because that's what they're searching for, right? And the spark of life, right? Yeah. At 28 weeks, you start with the quickening because your body changes within the woman. You start to get skin. You start to get covered in this, that, and the other. You start to have highs. You start to move and start taking your nourishment from a different place. So the body's now done its thing. You're now basically out of danger. You're nearly formed. So by the time you get to 37 weeks, give or take, right? To go to term, you then have to go through Heaven's Gate. And this may sound strange, but when you go through the pelvis and everything else as you come out, you are covered in, and you break through the Embloine sac. So you are born upon the water, not in it. So the water comes out, and you are guided out by the water. So that leads you the way out, right? So, and what's in your lungs is called some kind of gel. It's like a water gel, right? So by giving birth and going through the pelvis and the all the rest of it, right? What that does is your plates in your head overlap to allow you to get through. But what it also does is it wrings your body out. It makes you cough up and throw up all the gel out of your lungs. So you've come from basically a high pressure chamber to form the higher realm. You then go through the woman's canals, where you are given the kiss of life by literally there's a special bacteria that goes up your nose, in your mouth, through the way as you're on your way out, which is all the bacteria and stuff that assist your health throughout your development. And that is the kiss of life, because that then protects you from everything. And as you go through, come out and crowned, you are born into the Garden of Eden, where you take your first breath.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it. But now everybody wants to have a cesarean and everything else. And there's no wonder the kids are because they're getting deprived of everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stop doing it.
And it's all purposely done. And I know we were talking about this off camera, of course. And it's the eradication of the feminine, and it's been that way from the beginning. You know, there is no Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. It's the eradication of woman, because the matrix can't understand it, the system can't compute it. It wants order from chaos, and the feminine is chaos. It's the
Complete
primordial
chaos.
root. You know, and this is something I'm very passionate about at the moment, hence why we're having transhuman, transgender, chopping off your bits and you've got a mangina. Well, you're not a woman, no offense, but you're just not. And our wombs are the portals. The women, when the women remember who we are, when we all remember who we are, and ancestrally, like you say, when the baby comes through the birth canal and gets all these protections and remembrances of our ancestral lines, of our very DNA, that's the serpent coil, then but that's why then as soon as that newborn baby comes out, they're injecting it with all sorts, right? So because they don't want the big thing is, the key is, they don't want us remembering who we are, and they don't want us to remember that it is the feminine and the return of the feminine that is the holy grail, and we're the women that finish it with our men at our sides, without sounding too dramatic. But
No,
it is all
you
part
know
of
what I
it. It
mean? And
really
this is
is.
what I say. So what they're trying to do is eradicate the miracle of life by stating that you are
Exactly.
only a persona. Your
Exactly.
placenta has died, because your placenta, they state, can live up to 5 days. I think it's a lot longer than that. Out once it's born, and they then inspect it. They look at the coils. You've got 3 branches. They weigh it. They do everything else. And it's strange what the midwives, and there's been 3 or 4 of them that I've spoken to in the last few weeks, to be fair, and they've all said the same thing. That when you
Yeah.
put in the live birth notification form, that's done, and it goes 1 to 3. There's 3 copies of it. You then go on to the placenta stuff. You register all that. You do everything, all that. And that is when, once the placenta is administrated in, does the computer then generate an hospital number and an NHS number? And then that's issued to all your agencies, administrative, through every government department.
Yeah.
So they can set up all these other things that they're going to attach to you throughout your lives.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
And
that makes
it's
you
the
then,
basic of it's the fiction is dead, isn't it? The system,
yeah,
it's death, it's the hell realm. It wants this, like say, this transhumanist agenda, whereas it's anti-life, so the living man, the living woman, creation itself, that source, everything else is a fiction, it's a construct, and that's it. And that's it. It's good for evil. Which one do
and
you want
that's
to be?
what we've got to remember, is that we are the divine. We have come, it's in the Holy Gospel. We were granted the status of God's children.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? It's as simple as
We are
that.
the younger gods. We are the younger gods. We've just forgot.
Yeah,
And our lineages and
it's
our
thoughts.
ancestry and our lines.
Yeah,
Which is
but
why they
what it
reset time.
is Well, that's going into another realm. But the fact is, in this realm, that they are trying to change us from natural to administrative slaves. They want us as drones. Simple as that.
That's the B, isn't it, Robin, in Manchester after the bombings? They want a hive mind. It's that kind of, Borg in
Yeah,
Star Trek. They
yeah,
want they
yeah.
want the minions and the hive mind, yeah.
Yes. And this is the thing now that we know something's wrong, because all of a
Symbolic.
sudden we're getting all these imprisonments. We aren't being imprisoned. They're wanting to put in 15-minute cities where you will work, eat, sleep, and do not go out of the city without our permission to give you a pass. Well, what happened to the fact that we have, and it stated it in your passport, we have the right to travel freely without let or hindrance,
Yeah.
right? That's a constitutional fixed right. And they've taken it away. They're attempting to take it away with all these stupid fines like ULEZs and speeding fines. I didn't agree to them. Sod off. You cannot be issuing a grant of fine or forfeiture before conviction by a jury of my peers. And it
They said
has
he
to be
can, you
people
can't,
that
they said
know
he
you.
can, you can't have a foreign national in power.
No. Says it in the Magna Charta. Not a chance.
So
Says it in the Magna Charta.
he can get
Right?
to.
It says quite categorically, there can be no foreign interference. None.
Yeah.
This realm is Christian. We have been betrayed by the statutes, that they now think that they're above our constitutional, natural, common law rights. And they've then tried to insert a very similar right where they took the rights from, which is called the European rights, human rights, right? It is basically a modern flip on our constitutional rights, but without the sovereign protections of who we are. Because the sovereignty that we hold, and that's what they want to get rid of. And all these young idiots now are going, it don't exist, it doesn't exist. Well, of course it exists, you nutmeg. It is written in scripture. It is written in law. As way back as only 1960, Lord Kilmore stated it, that the true sovereignty lies within the people. The crown is only a servant.
Exactly.
And that is what we have to get back to. Everybody that keeps saying it doesn't exist, you're playing their game for them. You're winning their game. Stop being ignorant.
Yeah, exactly. The whole thing's got to get turned down, hasn't it? None of it applies to the living man and woman. It's just as simple as that.
Yeah.
The rules are for them.
Correct.
The
The
rules are for them
statutory
as
rules are for the
public
public
servants.
officials. It comes under their
Exactly.
fiduciary duty. What they're trying to state now is that we all work for them and we're all under public duty. Are we sod off? That what's her name only said late last year. Tax is a moral duty because it's not a contract. You don't have to pay tax. You only have to fill in the paperwork and don't sign it. That's it. That is your administrative duty. You don't have to pay tax. You don't have to pay council tax. And as I've just stated now, Parliament is illegitimate because nobody voted. Not one man or woman voted. Was your persona, your legal fiction. Go and have a look at what polling station means. It means either give us your opinion or come and give us your head count. That's it.
I was just about to say, the same thing. It's an opinion of a slave. That's it. And that's why you put an X in a box, the mark of the illiterate. They're mocking us.
Because now you've just proven that you need state protection. We're going to look after you. Now, I'm sure that 99.9999999% of the population can sign their own name. Just one of those things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
So
It's
where we up to then, Robin? Because obviously we've got the launch of the network down in Stoke on the 13th of July,
yeah,
and
we've got big things happening down there. I mean, we're working
tell us
on
what's
quite a few
happening.
number of things now.
Yeah,
Well,
go
this is
on.
what they're doing. This is what they're trying to do. You see, is literally stop me talking, because what we've done
Yeah,
is now we put in divine rights, natural common law, and now stated that we are not the debtors, we are the creditors, and how dare you contact us for payment of something that is not owed,
yeah,
right? And we send it back. We then challenge the court's jurisdiction because they're in administrative, bar guild presumptions. And if you bring up the 12 bar guild presumptions that I've done you, if you want to
yeah.
put
I
them
know.
on, you must put this in with every single notice to any court,
Yeah.
because they
Basically,
will
we put in
do
the
you,
12 presumptions of law. Yeah,
yeah, they will do you under the 12 presumptions of law, because you are guilty because you stand there. They remove all your rights without your knowledge, and they talk over you as if you are nothing more than a slave in servitude,
yeah. I've been
right?
there. They do.
Yeah, so we know what they're doing, okay? So now that tells them that we know we're in the wrong jurisdiction. We're removing them presumptions, and because you won't allow us to speak, because you consider us to be either dead or slaves or whatever, and that you want to put over some fraudulent documentation, we're not playing. Go away. We are the sovereign men and women under the Imperial Crown. Go away. You have no jurisdiction, you have no authority unless you can demonstrate it.
Yeah. And it's a numbers game and an awareness game as well, isn't it? We've got the paperwork, come find us, but we need this out there. We need people to grasp it. Like
We
it's a
need people to
simple.
come together. We need people to literally follow one process, because it's
Yeah,
all right doing 27 different processes. And yes, you
yeah,
will have some little victories, because that's what the system is designed to do. There are certain people up that go out there and come on and go, oh, no, you've got to do it this way, you've got to do it that, which is keep within their trailway tracks. And they'll give
yeah,
you little wins. I mean, there's a big thing just being published now. All the councils are now losing money on GDPR and ICO complaints. So what is the government doing? It's getting rid of the ICO.
of course they are.
It's getting rid of it.
Because it's data, isn't it? We know it's all
Yeah,
about data. It's a data war. It's
yeah,
everything, everything's digital, everything's data. That's how they want to enslave us,
yeah.
further.
So, yeah.
Um,
So now we've just got to remove our data. Remove it all.
mm,
We're not the persona. So you will remove our data. We will take control back of everything. And you are dissolved, Parliament, because we haven't voted you in. The vote is fraud. And what does fraud do?
vitiates
Unravels
all.
everything,
Mm,
right? Because we did not vote. The persona stuck an X in a box because we were all droned mechanically to go give our opinion for our heads to be counted, that you can say, oh, 56% of the population voted. Well, no, we
yeah,
didn't. That's another fakery. And how does a man that spots corruption within the voting system get arrested? And there's no investigation for a breach of the peace, when the police have no powers of arrest whatsoever. None. Don't be fooled. They're not working from Imperial Crown Authority. They're not under Imperial Crown Authority and are incorporated, all of them. Therefore, they're under administrative parliamentary rules. And as to the Claytona doctrine, you cannot delegate power.
yeah,
Therefore, police officers have no authority. They have no power. They cannot arrest you. Therefore, it is a breach of the Terrorism Act, Article 1, by bringing in political authority over the man. And it's a breach of Article 1 in the Servitude and Slavery. And it also breaches Article 4 of the European rights and conventions.
Yeah. Well, and that's it, isn't
All
it?
slavery has been abolished in
We've
all
got the
forms.
remedy. We just need people to get behind it now and just have a
We need
basic
people to understand it. We just need
understanding.
people now, babe, to just literally stop capitulating. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
The bailiffs
Yeah.
need to know full well that we're coming for them. We're going to take their houses now. We have the technology now and the paperwork to take their houses, their lives, everything. Everything has to be paid back now. Everything. All these corporations, you're going to pay it back. Every last penny. Parliament can no longer exist.
Yeah.
Right? It can no longer exist. It's got caught with its hand in the cookie jar right up to its shoulder.
Absolutely.
And that's the key to that's the key to all of it. So we start in their realm and finish in ours. Because you're breaching your own rules, which is this. You're stating this, but then doing this. And why? Because they're all under UCC codes. They're all under DUNS numbers, all working together. What's going to shock people is now the bailiffs are over the police because the bailiffs own shares in the police force. Proved it. The council works with the police because who asks for their money? It's on your council tax bill.
And are you able to share are you able to share what you told me about the name and the trust? Do you want to share that yet? That you told me yesterday?
Well, we're about, I reckon, 90% way through of performing the documentation to access everybody's trust. That bit.
Yeah.
So hopefully by Q-Stoke, we will have the remedy to get you through this, because what happens is the clerk of the court and the judge and the court manager have key access to, shall we say, certain portals through the persona to the trust. There's two sets of trusts. There's one on land, one on sea. One's the ROI and one's, I think it's the TRI trust. McFarland, for all those that want to look up this, securities and bonds.
That was it, yeah.
Are an international group that hold the trusts commercially, and they hold trusts from 100 to 800 million and beyond. Now, where else do you find the name LD McFarlane on all police documentation that sends you an issue of fine? So they're telling you they're entering your trust.
Yeah.
The straw man trust.
The LD McFarland, because you are still a little bit muffled, unfortunately, Robin. You are on my end. Hopefully it might not come across that for people, but LD McFarland is the name of the trust, isn't it? So they're sending these documents out, pretending that it's an actual entity.
Physical person, and it's not.
It's not a person, as in an actual man or woman behind that name, as we know none of it is anyway, but it's the devil's in the detail, isn't it? Wow.
Yeah. And this is the point. Same with the clerk in the court, because the clerk is not a clerk. It's a legal advisor. They can't use the word clerk of the court anymore. So all Crown agents were removed. 1997 to the Companies Act, they became administrative only, working from delegated authority of Parliament. Well, Parliament can't delegate authority. They no longer work for the Crown. They have no Crown authority because they're administrative. Therefore, bye-bye.
Yeah, see, it's like what you did, isn't it, Rob, when you walk into court calling a job at Hunt? It's like, who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you?
What jurisdiction are you in? Who do you think you brought here today? We're not playing. Go away. You know what I mean? It's like, go away. We're not interested. It's, no, you're in wrong jurisdiction. Here you go, bang, for bringing me here as a persona, we are no longer going to be involved with you. Here's not only go away, but here's an indictment. Because we're now charging you with misconduct in public office. called public outrage. Therefore, you are now permanently suspended without pay until we can have a true court of law to render judgment. Because I'm not the legal fiction state persona. I am the creditor. I am the man.
Exactly.
Boom. And there you go. We've just got to word it correctly and move our standings to back above them. And if you can't prove jurisdiction, then we've got you. Where is the disclosure? After the disclosure rules, you've got to tell me all the important information. You've not told me the important information. So that's deception. Deliberate. It's non-feasance in public office by not doing something that you should have done. It's misfeasance in public office by not showing who and what you are. Therefore, when you ask for a judge's bond and he fails to entertain it, that is failure to disclose. It's misfeasance in public office. It's malfeasance. It's misadministration in public office. It's a breach of fiduciary duties because you have to remain honest, integral, with clean hands. Well, you can't start something when you're in filth up to your neck. And deception, fraud, misrepresentation.
Uttering,
because now you're issuing a fraudulent document that you can't prove's got any authority to it.
Yeah.
And that's how we derived round it.
So obviously we're going to be launching the network down in Qstoke at Qstoke Village Hall. I will run the address down here. And if people want more information, then just email the Realm and we'll forward it on. We've got, I mean, Toshi's there, you're there, Robin Hood, of course, I'm there. Cassie from the National Residents Association is going to be there. Trina from Direct Private Trust, she's going to come in on Zoom on a live. And we've got a couple of extra special guests that we won't announce just yet, but some big names who are coming on board as well, and having the collaborations, as we say. And there's loads more coming because we've got the remedy. So we just need, like we say, we need the support, we need the numbers, and we need people to get this information out as far and as wide as possible. So I mean, on that note, I mean, is there anything you want to kind of finish on, Robin Hood?
It's look, peeps. We know this is complicated. We know this is it takes a lot to grasp because we've been hoodwinked and kept so busy to and kept in the loop that no, this is for the betterment of us. This is it makes it easier for us. It doesn't make it easier for us at all. It makes it easier for them to control us.
Mm-hmm.
The fact is that our rights are inalienable. They're in perpetuity. They can't change one word of it. They can't touch it. And by doing what they've done, they voided everything from that date. Everything. Because everything was done under treason. And look up the Treason Act, 1351. Still there.
And we still hang them from yard arms, don't we?
Yep. There's actually 2 left in the country.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to be busy.
Yeah. Well, and things are heating up. Things are hotting up. We're in the hot water now. There's no more.
You can definitely feel
oil of the frog,
change.
is there? We're in it.
Yeah. The fact is, there's a massive starting to no. We're not putting up with this nonsense anymore. You're not taking us cars. You're not taking us houses. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. For what? You can't put up an electric bill 78% in tax? No, I don't think so. Food's gone up between 40 and 70% in the last 8 months.
Yeah. Well, and that's why we're going to be working with Mark Byford, aren't we? We're kind of going to be covering all bases, really, to stop these feckers from doing exactly what they're doing. We know what they're doing.
We've got to go back. Look, we've lost the technology to grow ourselves. I remember only one generation ago, my granddad, they had a massive allotment and they had half the garden covered in food, right? They used to grow their own potatoes, their own turnips, their own this, that and the other, and it helped them out massively. They all bartered between each other. I'll give you a pound of things for half a pound of this and da. And that's how it was. We used to have rabbits, chickens, pigs in the back garden. Now they've fixed in that you can't have anything unless they say so. Well, I'm sorry, but no, it's not our rules. That's your rules.
Yeah.
You can't do anything unless we tell you you can. We're done.
Yeah.
And if you ask a police officer what he stood under there, and if he calls himself a constable, arrest him immediately under Section 24A of the Police and Evidence Crimes Act, because he's impersonating a police constable. Because police constables are under the Imperial Crown authority. They are under Parliament's authority. An authority cannot be delegated. They are nothing more than scumbags and terrorists.
Well, and that literally is what we're dealing with now, isn't it? A criminal mafia.
Yep.
And it's for the people to kind of take this back.
It is for them to wake up now. It's for them to wake up. Look at the Terrorism Act, 2015. Article 1, bringing in political authority over the people's rights. It's a political agenda, is this. It is not the right. It's a political agenda.
Yeah. And on that note, I think we'll leave it there. So please do join the network. Please do come and support Robin Hood in his work. And also, I'll put the email down if people want some more information about the event at Qstoke. Like I say, we are adding some big names, some more big speakers, because this is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and we're very excited about it because the only time is now. So Robin Hood, thank you so much again for coming, giving us an update, and
a pleasure.
We'll hope to hear from you again soon, and keep up the amazing work. We'll be back.